So today we have some, I think, interesting topics that we want to discuss, things that happened in the last month. So we have 3 talks. The first one is from Hydai, and he's gonna talk about the new WasmEdge release. The release 0.12.1. Some of you may have the opportunity to already experiment with that, and we have a long Twitter thread about its new features and things like that. And going forward, we would be have more regular release every couple of weeks. So I would also be able to talk about that. So that would be the first talk. And then the second and the third talk are, interesting applications that we are building for partners and customers using WasmEdge technology. The first one would be streaming function, and the second one would be document AI. And both of them are built by our interns that are that has demonstrated, I think, a high level of technical competence. They did a lot of work in the past couple months to build those solutions, and those solutions are now being used by real customers and by real partners. So anyway, without further ado, let's get Hydai started first. To talk about the new features in the new WasmEdge 1.12.1. Hydai, please.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Hydai, and today I'm going to share the 12.1 review. So let's start first. So first thing is that the Soul version is updated because we do some API changes. First thing is that we introduce the new plugin system. So now you don't have to told our framework that which host registration you want. Before this version, you have to specify for example, the WasCNN, the WasCrypto, and all other host function. You have to register it before you use it. However, in the new plugin system, you don't have to do that because our plugin system will try to load everything you put in the plugin folder. And also, we create a new. Actually, we update the VM cleanup function. After this release, now we will clean up all of the, for example, the plugins or some WASI contacts. They will all be cleaned up. And we also introduce lots of, the new CAPI for the plugin system. So the first thing is that all you have to do is to store such data in the plugin context. And we have several functions for users. So you can, now you can load the plugin from the specific path. And also you can list, you can find, you can get those information. And also you will have a CAPI for you to create a plugin module. And we also have some new CAPI for VM. Before this version, actually, you cannot just get all of the registered modules directly by the name. Okay, so we also add these 2 help function just for users that want to know which module already registered. Then for the second part, yes, I apologize that our 12.0 have some regression. So if you upgrade to the 12.0, then some of the socket application will fail. However, we fix it at the 0.1 version. So now we make sure it is already backport compatible with the old version. So it is fine to upgrade to the latest release. That everything is just work. And we have some updates. For example, now we support the lib tool to achieve the static library. And we also support the LVN 15. Also, in this version, we introduced the new WasmEdge installer because we want to manage all of the plugin with this script. It will be pretty difficult if we still use batch script to do the plugin management. So we just upgrade our installer from bash script to the Python version. Also, the WasmEdge process plugin will not ship by default. So if you want to use this, you have to specify it in the installer to install it. And also, we have the WasmBPF plugin, which is external contribution, and we are happy to have it. However, because we have not yet updates in the release CI. So if you want to try it in the current stage, you have to build the WasmBPF plugin by yourself. But we will just update the release workflow. So I believe that the 0.13 will have the WasmBPF plugin, just in the release ASA. So the installer after this version can just install this new plugin. And we want to introduce experimental features. This is for the WASI, because most of the usage, you can use pre-open directory to map your host environment, your host directory to the guest directory. However, if you want to, do the read-only stuff, there is no way to control it. So we just add the read-only flag. So you can just, you can just specify, for example, you can just map in your directory, your local directory here, and then add read-only. Then everything in this folder, you can just read it, and you have no permission to write it. If you try to do that, you will just retrieve an error told you that, oh, your permission is not enough, so you will just fail. Then actually the 12.x version, we do lots of bug fix. For example, for the WASI part, there are some information is just leaking in the standard input, output, and standard error, and we just fix it. And lots of the IO relative issue, the file system issue, we just fix it. And also we have some bug fixes for the WASI proposal. So if you are using these two plugin, for example, you are using the WasmEdge or the WASI Crypto, some of the previous bug has resolved. For example, the tensor type, we also fix this definition, and some of the WASI Crypto function, we also fix it. So if you're using this tool, please just check your application if these two bug fix also fix your problem. And we do lots of bug fix on the Mac OS. For example, there are something related to the building system, and for example, if you are doing a steady link with LLVM 15 on Mac OS, then actually it will fail in the previous version. Okay, and also you will encounter several issues when you try to use the Apple Silicon MacBook, and yeah, that's also fixed in this version. So I believe in the 12.1, we actually try to make the different platform to support a better way to do that, because that the Mac OS users is grows up, and lots of people are trying our application on the Mac OS, and they encounter lots of questions, and we are trying to fix them. as many as possible. So if you encounter new questions on those platform, please raise an issue on our GitHub issue. Then we will, just figure it out and try to fix it. So that's all I have for this review. And I want to take some time to talk about what will be the new feature in the next release. So the first thing is that we are going to drop the boost dependency, because we have several people told us that, hey, we don't want to use boost because it's large, and actually it is not used very widely in the WasmEdge, just a few places. So is it possible to to drop it? And the answer is yes, we are going to do this. And also we have changes. The one thing is we are going to duplicate the WasmEdge HTTPS request because we are already use the RustTLS plugin. We are use RustTLS to implement a new plugin to replace the original one. And we are going to introduce the WasmEdge Unified tool because in the previous version, if you want to use the compiler, you have to call the WasmEdge C. And if you want to use the runtime, you have to run the WasmEdge. There's two different tools. And now we are trying to make one unified tool. And all you need is just to use, WasmEdge run or WasmEdge compile. Okay. But we do some, backward compatible. So the WasmEdge C will keep layers, and you can also just use the WasmEdge without the run subcommand, just to to execute the application just like before. Yeah, we are introducing a new way, but we don't duplicate the old way. And another thing is that if you are trying to use a asynchronous function in our C API, you will figure out that our asynchronous functions only happens in the VM level. However, if you want to do a detailed control of, for example, the loader, the validator, or executor, that has no way to, to use our asynchronous function. So we have, we have do some API changes for this. So in our next release, you can just do some microcontrol with the asynchronous function. And we are going to support the following proposal. The first one is the Watson type of function reference proposal. Okay, and because with this proposal, then we can introduce more new and wonderful proposals, such as the Watson GC and the stack switching proposal. Yeah, so with this, we are going to introduce more and more new Watson proposal in our future release. Also, we are going to support some WASI proposal, for instance, for the login, the thread, and we will extend the WASI NN proposal with its new the name models feature. Yeah, so there will be something new in our, the 13.x release. So we will see. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Hydai. Yeah, that's I thought that's a lot of work. That's that's that goes into this release. So one of the most interesting that I find is really everything, all the WASI proposals and all the host functions are now being packaged as plugins, right? So so we are now going toward that direction where we're going to package everything, all the extensions outside of the core WASM specification, including WASI itself, as plugins and extensions. That would also allow it's a lot easier for people to contribute. So for instance, as Hydai mentioned, we're going to deprecate the current HTTPS stack that we have because it's synchronous, it's not asynchronous, right? So where's the asynchronous HTTPS stack? It's coming as a plugin. It's what we call TLS plugin. And with that, we would be able to, support HTTPS in asynchronous function calls through, say, Tokyo and Hyper, and just build applications that are a lot more performant and a lot more, modern, right? As I also mentioned, there are lots of new proposals that we're going to implement that would come in as a form of plugins. So, I think with this new setup, we can't have anyone, just to speak. So if anyone wants to ask a question, you can raise your hand in the meeting. So anyone? Okay, well, then let's move to the next agenda item. So we have a, through the LFX internship program, we met Sarah Bastawala, that's to work on extensions for our AI capabilities. So we now have two important, so we have always been able to support WasmEdge that allows us to do AI inference or AI computation for, let's say, TensorFlow-like models or PyTorch models and things like that. But in order to deal with real-world AI applications, you need not just the model, but also the functions that to prepare data to feed into the model and then to interpret the model's results, right? So for each of the applications, those are different. And in Python, there's a vast library for those. But in Rust, we are still catching up with, implementing those helper functions or those utility functions that facilitate AI inference. So we, one of the big efforts here is to do document AI, the OCR, character recognition, and things like that.